The difference is we all get a stake in this. You just have
Yes.
to buy a token of the
Yes.
underlying decentralized infrastructure rails, and we can all participate. We did not in the internet, and here we get a second do-over, and the whole of humanity can get involved. There's 600 million active wallets. There's 600 million participating in this.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that this is the most misunderstood aspect of the whole entire thing. Like, if I was to rebuild Uber today in a tokenized world, I could build Uber in a manner that benefits all the drivers. In the pre-tokenized world, I could tell you right now that Uber is going to end in a manner that does not benefit the drivers, right? Like, the drivers are the biggest cost center for Uber today. They are going to 100% move towards a Waymo model, right? You could see that. The drivers are ultimately what is driving all of the AI gathering for Uber. In a tokenized world, the drivers would have an ownership stake in the network that they're building, right? Like, people do not understand that this evolution will actually benefit the masses more than hurt the masses. And will some people benefit more than others? Yes, but that happens in any moment of change, right? But like, in the grand scheme of things, the US debt is in a better spot today from where treasuries can be parked. Humanity's in a better spot in terms of more people gaining access to the money that should be owed to them versus intermediaries, and more people will ultimately be able to gain access to real valuable assets that they never had access to before. That is what the larger sort of aspect is happening with the tokenization of the world, and that's what gets me so excited on every level.
And essentially what these gentlemen are talking about is exactly what XRP holders have been saying for so long, that by owning the XRP token, you take part in ownership, not only in the future of global financial infrastructure, but also in asset tokenization, whether it comes through the XRPL using RLUSD, or even through any one of the other many companies that Ripple has recently purchased this past year. And these aren't just a bunch of empty words, because even the Federal Reserve just put tokenization and stablecoins on the main stage with an October 21st Payments Innovation Conference. When the referee walks onto the field, the rules are about to change. They already know that this moment has been coming for quite a while, and now they can no longer fight it. They do have to join it. This is the moment that unlocks real institutional flow on chain. And here is why that matters for XRP. Ripple's latest piece says that the SPV model, or special purpose vehicles, where off-chain assets sit in a wrapper while tokens mirror them, is only a bridge. The end game is native issuance, assets born on chain with compliance in code and instant settlement. This directly challenges the old plumbing of our financial networks and infrastructure. And this is exactly why the XRPL was built and what it was built to handle. At the same time, stablecoins quietly have become the monetary rails for tokenized finance, now a $230 billion market that regulators and builders can't ignore. Even the Fed's own Governor Waller has been signaling that stablecoins can boost competition and lower costs, which is obvious to anyone in hindsight. If policy, stablecoins, and native assets converge, do we get the crypto version of our internet moment for value? Much of this value is going to be driven into the largest cryptos by market cap, XRP being one of the biggest beneficiaries with its RLUSD stablecoin. And the sentiment, well, even the loudest XRP bulls are saying the quiet part out loud. The value is in the protocol and ownership in that protocol. If the Fed's agenda meets Ripple's native asset vision, what happens next will be huge for crypto, and especially XRP. So in this video, I'll be breaking down that Fed shift, what they're talking about at this next event, this article directly from Ripple talking about special purpose vehicles, and how even players like BlackRock and Larry Fink have been signaling for asset tokenization for quite some time and have been building their infrastructure to support this new system. And I'll even be diving into Larry Fink's 2025 annual chairman's letter to investor, where he talks about the old order of investment and how they're preparing for the future. So let's dive into the video. And as always, if you're feeling blessed and bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to be the wealthiest person in your family tree, smash the subscribe button. Hello and welcome back to the channel, my friend. If you're new here, my name is Paul, and you can find me on Twitter or X at PauliDeFi, PauliDeFi. The first thing I want to cover is this new meeting that the Federal Reserve is putting together, a conference on real-world assets, AI in payments, and the tokenization of financial products and services. And directly from the Fed, they're going to be discussing everything from DeFi to stable coins and, of course, asset tokenization. This is going to happen sometime in October. And one of the very first comments from one of the XRP community members mentions that Ripple and Chainlink were two of the only 4 crypto companies that met with the Fed last week. So this is huge, and one could argue that Ripple is going to be involved in the asset tokenization of many major banks, potentially central banks, but also play a role as a key advisor to our Fed. Now, in order to set the stage for this video, we first have to dive into stablecoins, which are arguably the most profitable business per employee in history. When you look at Tether, for example, which many would argue is not 100% transparent, it's still being used in mass and is the largest stablecoin by market cap at nearly $150 billion in circulation, dwarfing USDC's $61 billion outstanding, and many call Tether the most profitable business per employee in the world. It actually outperformed BlackRock in terms of its profitability. But where this gets interesting is the fact that now stablecoins are going to have the full support of virtually every governmental body and agency in the United States, and even the Fed and the Treasury, as the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has mentioned multiple times that stablecoin issuers will be the largest holders of US debt and treasuries, which means, guess what? They are going to be pro stablecoins. Now, stablecoins are issued on chain, and this is going to create for a situation where we update the financial system of the globe. And when you look at XRP, or more particular, the value of this asset, it will likely continue to grow as Ripple's stablecoin continues to gain in dominance in market cap, being that it is one of the most highly regulated stablecoins in the world with backing and licenses in New York. So when you think about that, currently sitting at $709 billion, that is chump change compared to what it's going to be a decade from now. And much of this is going to then service and be the plumbing for asset tokenization. And so in his 2025 annual letter, Larry Fink to investors talked in a section called From Retirement to Tokenization and how to democratize investing for everyone, as most Americans and even Gen X are behind on their retirement. And yes, this is a very lengthy article, so I'm going to cut straight to the chase. And I highlighted exactly what he sees being the future, as 401ks typically require time when you're investing in bigger projects. Even if they are likely to be profitable, they are not actually that liquid. And this is where asset tokenization can really improve the world of 401ks. And now we're talking to the tune of many trillions and trillions of dollars. This is the largest asset manager in the world, and the writing is on the wall. They see the future. Arguably, they're the ones that create the future. And this is exactly what he said. He said, when you invest in private assets like a bridge, for example, the values of those assets aren't updated daily, and you can't withdraw your money whenever you want. Wink, wink. You can with liquid assets or crypto, right? And especially if it's tokenized. It's a bridge, after all, not a stock. While BlackRock, as I've previously written, is working to make the markets for these assets, and he's talking about his TXSE, Texas Stock Exchange, that will be focused solely on asset tokenization, more price transparent and liquid, many 401k providers, i.e. the whole retirement world in the United States, which is one of the largest markets, haven't yet adapted to this evolving financial landscape. Indeed, including assets like real estate or infrastructure in a 401k has become practical only within the past 5 to 10 years. So imagine you no longer have to wait these periods of time to withdraw your money or for it to be liquid. You can still invest in bridges, in real estate, in infrastructure, and it would be 100% liquid because it is tokenized on chain. And again, you're going to need a strong stable coin and a very strong and trustworthy team to do this, i.e. Ripple. Now that we're starting to see the bigger picture and what's going to happen in this article, article directly on Ripple.com, they talk about how the real opportunity lies in natively issued on-chain assets, securities, credit instruments, and real estate that are born digital, enforce compliance through code, which is far better than compliance through any intermediary, and settle automatically without legal wrappers. This isn't just a technical upgrade, it redefines financial logic. And here is why the XRPL is so good for this situation, as the XRPL offers native support for direct issuance, composability, and institutional grade programmability, something that actually a lot of blockchains lack. So although they are very decentralized, they're not really built for institutions when it comes to the level of features that they need surrounding security in order to be compliant with regulators. XRPL is very different in that manner, and that's one thing where they really excel. Key features needed to realize the full potential of real-world asset tokenization. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think is going to occur at this Federal Reserve conference on October 21st? And will players from the Ripple team be there as well? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. And thank you so much for watching this video. Typically, I cover a bit of price action, but things are pretty stable considering I already covered it yesterday. So if you want to watch that, go ahead and watch it. But until next time, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also go to altcoinpro.com if you want to learn how to become a crypto millionaire this bull market cycle. I can't guarantee that result, but I can guarantee that we have the best, most thorough platform on the planet for crypto education tools and resources. So go ahead and check that out. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.